Whoever drinks salt water gets thirsty, and whoever is thirsty needs to drink. But please, not more salt water. Even based on the body's metabolism and based on the metabolism of society, we do not seem to understand this unpleasant cycle. We are always eager for the more principle of higher, faster, further, which has grown increasingly unpleasant, pushing us to our limits of thirst and life. Even though the economic, environmental and social science tell us unequivocally that there's something out of control, we haven't yet come to grips with how to deal with this. Instead, we stick to the known, adhering into the previously proven formats. But it does not follow that the more principle with seemingly more solutions enables us to have more clarity. In fact, it drives us to more helplessness and more hopelessness until finally we wander into disorientation. Can it be possible that we have allowed ourselves to fall into a global dependency trap, which pushes us into seeking the course of more and more, believing accumulation is the ultimate attainment? As long as we do not understand loneliness as a source, we will always be dependent, and therefore we remain vigilant more and further and higher. We know how we could do things differently and better, but we do not act accordingly, precisely because we can't muster any courage, any clarity, any consciousness, or any compassion. This further removes us from reality and aggravates the conditions we are currently under, whether consciously or unconsciously. We are suffering, we are thirsty, and yet we carry on drinking salt water. In quantitative terms, we literally have everything in life, but we still don't realize that our quality of life is not increasing. Imagine if all people would be agile and feel resistant without being dependent. What would society be like? And relationships between family, friendship, and at work? But in reality, we allow ourselves to be persuaded by the usual cognition from the usual intellect and the usual expected logic to pacify us into believing that we are all doing well. It's not about whether we can continue to deal with the unknown. It is about whether or not we have the courage to let go of the known, to let in the unknown, expanding our horizon of comprehension. Perhaps we must ask ourselves what is needed so that we can adopt to the unknown, allow into the unknown and the unexpected, and thereby cultivate more understanding, more depth to our internal security. It takes true understanding of reality for leaders and decision makers to cultivate purpose orientation, sense and meaning, to inspire and to more clearly understand the problems of employees, teams and organizations. The fact is that each separation within any system leads to conflicts, so we need to get to the bottom, to unity and cohesion, to understand a more mindful approach. When a conflict is bogging us down, a change of perspective will help. If the thirsty stubbornly resist, tap water, maybe gentle advice for the future is needed. Advice and direction for drinking tasty, thirst-quenching water instead. The body will have the right recipes if the logic and the intellect blockades are bypassed. If society and the economy oppose stubbornly against the approach that can help us is to do what we feel intuitively is right for us, being intuitive, empathetic, and self-aware. Interestingly, it is undisputed that in the world of creative entrepreneurship, executives rely on intuition, empathy, and self-awareness, as these constitute an important part of success. Therefore, the integration of silence is vital for the cultivation of serenity, safety, security, and inspiration for the future. A rethink is needed to learn how to learn differently. It is about those criteria which can affect us to become agile and resistant within each system. It is this inner balance which drives the decision-making process of our I. We can learn to find access into ourselves, to find the confidence to accept us as we truly are. Then we are able to perform authentically and to activate our inner strength. We regain our inner balance and access our potential. With traditional mindfulness practice, it is possible to obtain inner peace as well as develop and trust our instincts, emotions, and impulses. Through real playing, we can become truly human inside ourselves again, an experience that shows that everything is fine and has its place in creation. This allows for a new well-being in life and creates a stable, inspirational work environment. That is why we must resist the quantity trap, delving into ways to minimize conflict in our day-to-day routines. This inner balance helps us to cope with global leadership challenges of the 21st century and helps us increasingly deal with important issues such as our own personal challenges, equal participation, and acceptance of women and men in leadership positions, the questioning of constant 24/7 availability, the better handling of unexpected surprises and the unfamiliar, new values and behavioral qualities, learning to learn differently so that we better manage anxiety and fear within the system, promoting unconscious talents within each of us, the questioning of intensive and complexity, efficiency and speed, and the acquisition of global flexibility. Previously, we lived with the conviction that the world exists for itself and we derive from the world information with which we construct our reality and cement our everyday beliefs and subjective theories. But going forward, we have a choice. Do we want to rely on our mental constructs or on our attentive and intuitive perception? A decision must be made.